everybody. One more time. We're still rolling. That's the whole point. Anyway, we're back again today, tomorrow, the next day after that too, probably. Hopefully one a day up until LAN. I leave next Wednesday. Today's Tuesday. This will release on Wednesday. So yeah, hopefully I think we got 7 more episodes lined up. Either way, this is all unimportant information. Today, I've got, you know him as the org owner of Amped, but most recently, he has been putting together the Next Gen Cup and putting together experienced players within the scene to coach new players to the scene. I think it's a really exciting project. We're going to talk more about that. But I got Big Tuna over here. Tuna, how are we doing today?
Very well, Big D. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's nice to I love talking to the players, but it's nice to get outside. The players generally have like one perspective. The whole goal with the players on this show is to get them all to realize they're the same person and they need to get over these egos, okay? They're not different. They're all just one person. No, I'm kidding. You're all unique individuals, and I love each and every one of you. But I like to I love getting to talk to the org owners and the people supporting the scene. What let's go back in time first though. We want to get some Tuna lore before we dive into everything that you're doing right now in the scene. Let's go back in time here. What are your earliest memories of gaming and how did they lead you to Counter-Strike?
Yeah, so I think my perspective on the whole Counter-Strike scene is definitely something unique because I didn't actually come from like being a fan of Counter-Strike or watching the majors or anything like that when I was a kid. A lot of the games I played when I was a kid it's where it all started. I won't get too far ahead. The storyline essentially is, my dad was a big gamer, and when he had children, my brother and I, he wanted to play video games with us as like a LAN thing, So as soon as I could see, I had a keyboard and mouse in my hands and played games like Pirate Poppers. There was a couple Star Wars games we played, a couple Nickelodeon games. I can't remember exactly which ones they were, but that's how it started. And then kind of I played Gary's Mod from like 2012. It was the first game I got on Steam as my buddies played Gary's Mod, and it looked so cool. You could build and like move the props around, and there were different servers. And I was very much a kid that really liked enjoying building things. So I was like, this is the game for me. So from like 2012 to 2017, I like exclusively played Gary's Mod. I have like 7,000 hours on that game. It should be a record. It's insane. But I also played a lot of games. I was like a big Call of Duty kid. That my dad loves Call of Duty, so that's actually what we played together when my brother and I, were 10, 12 years old, and we had a little more cognitive function. So we all played Call of Duty with each other inside the house, and we would invite our friends over in the neighborhood, and we'd play together. So video games for me has just always been something that is really easy to come back to, and it's developed so much. Like, you would invite your friends over and you would play video games, and it was a social thing, and you would play online with people. But I just feel like it's just become something so much more where, you know, I think it would be a little bit taboo in like the early 2000s to be like, oh yeah, I met a friend online. You know what I mean? But now it's like it's completely different. Some of my best friends I've met actually in the last 2 years through Counter Strike, and I was very pleasantly surprised by that. I had no expectations when I was coming into Counter Strike, and I'm sure we'll get into that a little more in the interview later. But really, when I was young and just kind of the Tuna lore is what you wanted, like, I just had such an appreciation for video games, not just because they were so much fun, but because of the people that you met and that you played with, and just like for me, my clips of my friends and I, like, it's just some of the most cherished, memories. And I hold on to those, and they make me laugh, and it just reminds you of good times, So it's that's kind of the whole Tuna lore, and getting into gaming and stuff like that, and why I'm still involved with it.
Yeah, dude, I think that's beautiful. That's the kind of the same reason that I always like stuck with gaming. I mean, I've always been a competitive person. Like I've definitely had more of the like desire to like be a player, but like the reason I've loved video games past that is like the unification through this hobby. Like any hobby that people can connect over that brings people from all these different walks of life, I think is just a really fascinating thing because, like you said, you just meet all these interesting people. And yeah, dude, when I was growing up, like my parents wouldn't let me play video games online till 2004. I mean, I would sometimes, but like they wouldn't let me like interact or talk until I had Xbox Live when I was like almost 15 years old. And
Yeah.
so yeah, at that point, like my parents were nervous about like me meeting people, but I very quickly like made all these like really close friends. And I mean, here we are 20 years later, and I'm about to move to fucking New Jersey because I want to be around all of my Counter-Strike friends in person, you know? So, um, I get it, dude. It's that's a beautiful reason to love video games. Well, how did you eventually you became the org owner of Amped, and how did that? What's the history of Amped, and and how did we get over to, well, the next we'll talk about the next Gen Cup after that, but tell us the story of Amped.
Yeah, so it's not a very complicated story. I had a friend who was very much into esports. He was competitive Counter Strike player, and I was never really involved in Counter Strike before this. When I was in high school, I had a couple businesses, and I had to shut them down because I eventually went to college, and I was so enamored by the idea of entrepreneurship and kind of pursuing exciting things and things that I'm interested in because I was always the kid in school that would be like, well, you do a great job when it's something you're interested in, but when it's not, you give 25% of what you should be giving. So just for me personally, I just think I should just pursue, I guess, what I enjoy, and something I enjoy is entrepreneurship. So my buddy kept telling me about how there's no way to get to the pro leagues in North America. Like COVID happened, things are just absolutely crappy right now. Um, yeah, Europe just has so many other foundational programs, and even like with their schools and stuff like that, it's very similar to kind of how you would see in in North America for something like baseball or football or whatnot. And I uh, I was very intrigued by that. I always heard that no one could make any money in esports. I was also intrigued by that. Um, and the idea was to kind of set out and explore why there's no money in esports and why these teams can't profit. Um, and I guess the answer to that I've learned over the last, almost 3 years, 2 years now, is that there's no innovation. Um, that's why it's failing, is because, or usually, well, I mean, it's not necessarily failing as a whole, but teams shut their doors because there's no innovation. It's almost a copy and paste of every single other organization. Okay, let's build a roster. Let's get sponsors. We're gonna live stream. We're gonna get subscribe. Like it's like copy and paste, just the same stuff. And um, you know, I don't know. It's not worth gambling. It's not worth gambling trying to build those teams up, and there's not a lot of ROI involved. So anyone can tell you that at face value, but in order to actually do it and explore what's going on, you have to just jump right into it. So that's what we did. We started a team. It was Amped Red, and we went to Dallas. Or where'd we go? I think it was Dallas, Texas was our first ever LAN event, and I could send you some pictures if you want of that. But it was one of the most fun experiences I'd ever have. It was a big thing for me. Like I'd never packed my bags and gone on like a big trip like that with my friends, especially to somewhere that I didn't really know about. It was an exciting thing. Um, and I got there and I met some super friendly people. And they were in the Counter Strike scene for a while. And that's actually where I met Saban for the first time. Was at the GG Easy Gaming Cafe in Texas, and he was there with Kojo and the current Take Flight team at the time. I think I don't know if I think they came in second or third. I forget who ended up winning. Um, but just the environment, the excitement, the passion, seeing these players involved. Um, it just ignited something, man. It was just one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and that actually inspired me to continue on. So it was actually an experiment at first. We created a Twitter account, and we didn't want to incorporate anything business wise. We didn't want to put too much into it. So we just started a Twitter account. We got the team together. We ordered some jerseys. We did some sponsorship outreach. Uh, and all of this different stuff. And just after that LAN event, it was super, super exciting. So we decided to continue. But I know that's kind of a long-winded answer of how AMP started, but that is just genuinely how it went. Was it was an experiment and an idea, and we took a step to go to a LAN as a team and compete on Face It, obviously. Uh, but it was really exciting. So it just inspired everyone involved to continue pushing, and then we started to go to more LAN events. And like I think Jack Harlow put it best. It's an addiction. Like it's something. If you haven't been to a Fragadelphia event, you have to go. Um, there's just so many people there that are just super cool, and you wouldn't even know about it. And it's just a really great time. I won't get too into it, but um, really Fragadelphia. Shout out those guys. That was one of the reasons why we kept doing the business, even though uh, we weren't like an ECL or anything like that, but we were in Maine or IM, and we had like these little goals that we were trying to achieve, like, oh, let's make main qualifiers, or let's win main qualifiers, or let's get sixth place in IM, or try to make playoffs. So we had all these mini goals, but then like the more macro, like kind of high level business stuff was really pushed by how Fragadelphia is maintaining a foundation and a consistent schedule for players to try and get better in North America. So that's one of the main reasons why we feel confident keeping up with the business, even though no one makes money in esports. That's what we're trying to solve right now for our own sake, and in order to provide an exceptional service to people that do want to enjoy our products or services. Um, so yeah, in short, we're trying to pave a pathway for players to go pro, and we want to do that through innovation through our next gen cup, rather than helping 5 players at a time get a financial package and land benefits, jerseys, and stuff like that. Where we want to cast a bigger net and try and hit more of these achievements that we want to try to achieve, which is like getting players more exposure, getting them out to LAN, getting them mentored, which was all stuff that we were trying to do with the rosters initially. And we could talk about that because I kind of glossed over that and went right to the next gen cup. But yeah, I'm just excited to talk about it for sure. It's something really cool, and I think the context of kind of why we moved to the next gen cup is also important. But we could talk about kind of our time between 2024 and like mid 2025 if you'd like.
Oh yes, I would. I have something to share with you though,
Yeah, sure.
as an echo of what you said out there. Yeah, going to LAN is an addiction, and an echo of what I said too. Part of the reason why I'm moving up to Jersey is like I want to be around that environment at all times. Like that's, and especially not just, I mean, LAN is LAN, right? But like, especially at Frag, like the team that is put together there is full of incredible people that are genuinely very passionate about the scene, and they've been doing it for a long time, so they know what they're doing. Like
So many years, over a decade, I think Steve's been doing it, and it's like
yeah,
nonstop too. It's just
it
crazy.
started in 2014
Yeah.
and it's been nonstop. They were decimated by COVID, but they've still pushed to rebuild and continue to rebuild. And this tournament next weekend at the block is going to be fucking nuts. Like there's 10 plus EU teams flying in to play in this tournament. Like that's bonkers. This is a 10K
The
tournament,
RS
but
effect.
it's got major implications. So yeah, and like when you're in that environment, it's incredible. It's just a lot of fun. I've gotten to go to 4 over the last 10 months. This will be my 5th one in a year, and I'm pretty proud of how many I've gone to, and we're making that move. And yeah, dude, I I think it's interesting what you say about the lack of innovation. This is where I personally, I know I'm not an org owner, so I could just be talking out my ass, okay? If one of you guys tried to tell me how to cast, I might have a like little eye twitch and just be like, uh-huh, and you know, move on with my life. But that's why I feel like a lot of you guys should get together and like come up with an idea as the tier 2, tier 3, 4, what the you know what I'm talking about, the not the like not tier 1 orgs that are trying to do this thing correctly, and you know, come up with ideas. And I think that's why I shout out to Notorious as well. Why Notorious does stand out is because they don't just stream their stuff or just do the memes. They do it like they do a total shit cast. Like they have a whole cast of personalities on like and characters that they put on their stream, right? It's not we just turn it on or we pay a caster and we've got a graphics package and we got this.
Mhm.
Like you said, it's very copy and paste. And not that like anybody is wrong for trying to do that, but like that is why there's not anything new coming through, is there's nothing new being done, right? Like that's so
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
why it's
Notorious
also
is yeah, definitely a great organization. They stand out, like you said, because of the type of content they put out and the vibe that their brand is based around is very relatable to probably a lot of people that play Counter Strike. So they do a good job.
they very much understand the Counter-Strike community and are Counter-Strikers themselves.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's they're goofballs. Well, and that's not to say other orgs don't stand out as well. Just purely in I mean the take flights, the lags, the zomblers, the amps that all have had multiple rosters and iterations over the last several years and have had enough players that come back and are like, no, these guys are good people doing good for the scene, right? Like they are sticking out by reputation as well, and that like slow build. Because the other thing too is you look at the complexities or the phases or the whatevers that have been around. They've been around for almost 20 years now, right? Like that they've been building for a long time. So sometimes it takes time as well, but yeah, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, shall we? Cuz yeah, I have been thrilled about this next gen cup that you're doing and what like you said, casting a bigger net to like help promote a wider swath of players in the community and even the mentors. Like I love what you're doing with the mentors because of the fact that these like one of the main issues in our community is it's really hard to get anybody at the top to like turn around and help the people behind them, right? Like everybody is eyes forward, funneled
Yeah.
upwards. And so like getting these players to like learn how they can be better mentors is amazing. I don't mean to take all your time just fucking yapping about it myself here, Andrew. My
No.
apologies. But yeah, dude, where did you come up with the idea? And tell that's all I know about it, but please, I know there's a lot more to it than that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, like you were saying. The general idea of the Next Gen Cup is we want it to be 64 teams. We haven't gotten there yet. We've only run two. This is the second one that's coming up here, October 9th. That's our second ever event. And generally, the idea is that players compete in a tournament. They get exposure via streaming, as well as any repost stuff like that, getting their Twitters tagged and whatnot. And then also, obviously, if you go all the way down the line to the winners of the cup, they get streamed live on Face It. Actually, we managed to get in contact with them, and they were hugely supportive of the idea, and they'll actually be streaming the finals on Face It, which was really, really cool. But the idea is to provide open to main teams all of those players and get them as much exposure as possible, because generally players, at least that I've seen in the last few years, usually climb up these ranks, and then they show up to a LAN event, and then they show off a little bit, or they have some type of personal brand that they're able to connect with people and kind of network through their personal brand. But we feel that the Next Gen Cup is a tournament that it's open. Anyone has the opportunity. May the best win, you know? And I will also say, a lot of question in people's heads is like, how do you know that somebody is in open to main? And it's an ever developing process, but we do have a couple different procedures that we run on every single team to verify that each of the players are either within those boundaries. And generally, an easy one is we just go on their facets, and if it's questionable, like they have 1 or 2 games and their height, or just something, if there's something questionable, we'll reach out to them. But generally, it's people are actually pretty well behaved, which is good. They've no one's trying to sneak into the next gen cup. But we do have procedures in place to make sure that that doesn't happen. And it's an ever
I
developing
like that.
process. Yeah, for sure. Well,
I didn't know about that.
there's also no cash prize for the next gen cup, so we are discouraging Smurfs and people that want to try and fake accounts, because we're not looking for.
All you're getting is experience.
It's so like I can't stress enough how valuable the experience is with the
Yeah.
mentors, because these guys like tens of thousands of hours, and even KJ,
Right.
who's one of our new mentors, the dude coached in Europe. Like he coached on Liquid in I think like 2015, so it was 10 years ago. But
Yeah, he was an analyst for
yeah,
Liquid, I believe.
that's right. He was
Yeah.
an analyst, and
Yeah.
the opportunity to be connected with somebody like that just for a $25 buy-in, like it's unreal. So, shout out to our sponsors too. There were some, and organizations as well. This whole cup is meant to bring the community together. There's been a lot of organizations in NA, lag, take flight, that have given cash donations to the next gen cup to help support, because we pay everyone involved. This is something that we want to also encourage people that want to work in esports to take a stab at and make a little bit. It's nothing that's going to pay the rent, but it's good money. It's decent. So we're happy to help support people that are passionate about the scene in a monetary way, because it's always about money in esports. But we also have ways of getting more money in through sponsors. We haven't announced it yet, but we have a plan for 2026 for individual donators. We think people are really going to like what we're cooking up for that. But we want everyone to be involved with this. This isn't just something that our organization is trying to put on. It's a North American community event that everyone can rally behind and support, because together, we're able to build up these players. And if we do raise money, we're able to provide a better experience for everyone involved. And again, it's an open tournament, so there's no bias. There's no invites. It's just if you sign up and pay the fee and you're within open domain, you're in. So we it's a really good time. The short version is it's a tournament to mentorship program, and it connects lower level teams and players with high level players and their teams, and is able to create a network through that. Cute dog, by the way, Big D.
Thank you.
That Momo?
No, this is Garçon.
Garçon.
He's a French Shepherd.
Oh, nice.
Huh.
So
Garçon?
cute.
You good boy, huh?
But yeah, that's generally what the
he-
Next Gen Cup is all about. I think I covered all the bases.
Well, I didn't know. There's two things that I didn't know in there. Is the fact that you're doing. So I'll tell you my idea real fast that I've pondered for probably almost a decade, but closer to the last 6-7 years, seriously, and maybe it'll happen someday. But I have dreamed of a 30+ league. Only league. Like, you have to be 30 years or older to play in it. And it would be a beer league. It would like just be for fun. It would like encourage. It would be to encourage like a lot of old veterans to come out and like play some fun games where they're not getting told how stupid and old and bad they are and uninstall and all that shit, right? But the thing that I've thought about with that is you would have to have like you would have to have hand-picked approval. You would have to verify that these people are 30 years old, right? So you'd have to go through and find a way to do that. And so I think it's really amazing that you guys are doing that with the Next Gen Cup as far as I mean, it's not some like deep research detective work
No.
and background check into somebody, right? But like you are doing your due diligence when it comes to making sure that it is new players coming in that are trying to learn the game, or even if it's a veteran player, they've never
Yeah.
made it past. Like
Right.
I could go join the Next Gen Cup. I've never made it past IM.
It doesn't have to be new players. It could be players that were in an advanced or ECL, but they haven't been in it for the last 3 seasons. That's the main kind of piece, and it's kind of the baseline we use for it. Is that if you've competed in anything above advanced in the last 3 ESEA seasons, you're not eligible for the event. Because I believe that's what, like 9 months. It's a lot. So
That's
it's
yeah,
enough.
that's close to a year.
Yeah, it's close to a year. So it's enough time to give someone. I don't know how to put it, but it's enough time.
Yeah, it's enough time. Yeah. Well, and then the other thing, the fact that you guys are setting up your ecosystem to operate where even if it's you know humble amounts, it there you guys are paying your broadcasters and people to that come through and work on there. And something I have learned over this last several years is as a caster is there's just not a lot of money in esports, and so I feel like I never expect things anymore as a caster. Like I do it because I enjoy casting more than anything, but it's always nice when people are setting it up so that broadcasters and production are getting taken care of as well. So I think that's just all good. It's just all a net good. And like you said, it's a it's a net positive for the community because especially I was telling you this before we started recording how um the scene kind of feels like it's crumbling a little bit right now. Like there's definitely things that were a certain way for a long time are changing up, and I think that it's important to have these kinds of things that are new and blossoming to showcase that the spirit of passion and desire to see this thing grow and carry on won't ever die. It'll rise like a phoenix from the ashes.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, okay. I do want to ask you this: are you familiar? And I'm sorry to bring up a competitor here, but I want to ask: are you familiar with the Counter Strike Confederation?
I've heard of them. But I'm not familiar with them.
So they do. I'm not that familiar with them either, but they run what are called combines, where um like they do like a draft with a bunch of players where like and they slot people in. But if you're not familiar with them, I think you guys are much different, but I was curious to know if you guys have thought about combining forces with them, because it's a similar idea to wanting to like open a wide group, like teaching the next generation.
Gotcha. Well, I
But
mean, I'll definitely look into it. I know of them, but I wasn't familiar with what they were all about. So, um, yeah.
well, well, maybe I need to interview them and then I'll get back to you with more information because
There
I
you
don't
go.
even have any.
Get on here,
I don't
Counter
even.
Strike Confederation.
Yeah, I don't even know who's in charge over there. To be honest with you, I've just heard of them and I've thought it's a cool idea or whatever, but I've never seen it take fire or well, I was gonna say catch fire, but then I was saying take flight for some reason. So um, shout out Saban and
Shout out,
Nello.
Take Flight. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out the boys. All right, well, what are your what's what's it like working with these mentors? How do you pick your mentors for this program?
Yeah. So that's also a good point.
I
So
don't
I've
have a list of questions. We're coming up with them on the fly here, so
it's all good, man.
bear with
I'm
me.
down. Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, so I'll start with how we find the mentors. So generally, it's people that I've met in person before. KJ is an exception, but all the other mentors I've met in person, I know them personally. Actually, Kojimo, I have not met in person, but I've spoken to him many times
I
via
thought you said
Discord.
he was at the first LAN that Amped went to earlier.
He was, and I remember I was there, and they were like, "That's Kojimo," and I'm like, "Who's
Oh,
Kojimo?"
but you never got to meet
Yeah,
him.
no, I had no idea who he
Okay.
was.
You saw
Uh,
him from a distance.
yeah, so I knew of him at that LAN, but at the time there was no reason to connect because they were playing, so they were competing, and you know how it is. You don't really want to bother players when they're gaming. They're trying to compete. So but I talked to Saban a lot. But so no, I haven't met Kojimo in person yet. But great dude. I've talked to him a lot on Discord, and he's a huge influence and just supporter of the Next Gen Cup. So shout out to Kojo. He's a great dude. And then also, uh, yeah, KJ also I haven't met in person, but Kojo or I think KJ coached Kojimo's college team, I believe. So Kojo connected me with KJ and went from there. Same thing with KJ. He was like, "Dude, I'm in. Like, doesn't matter. Like, I just want to be a part of this." And I was like, "All right, cool." So we were able to get those two, and then of course we have Lucas or AK Fat Guy, the land demon over there at Rowan. Also, just even when he played, he did play for Amped between 2024 and 2025, and just watching him and listening to the way he talked about the game was very different from how I've heard a lot of people talk about it. Um, and I mean, he's an aimer, dude. He frags out, so I was really happy to have him on board. And we actually just picked up two Panic two from Take Flight. So I was actually in Tennessee with the Take Flight team, and I got to listen to Ben Two Panic. And just how he interpreted the game, and we would watch. I think we were watching. It was a Blast event that was going on down there. I think it was
Yes,
Vitality
because
and
that's where M80 was.
yes. So, I was just
Blast
listening
London.
to him and Huncho talk about it, and I was like, these guys they think about the game on a whole new level because I've been in Airbnbs with IM players and I've also been in Airbnbs with ECL players. I know the difference on how they talk about things. You know what I mean? And it's a privilege to be able to say that because I'm able to take that knowledge and then selectively pick the mentors and stuff like that. But it's also not just me picking them. I ask the mentors. I'm like, what do you guys think about this? They know a lot more than I do. But yeah, so really excited to pick up to Panic, and it's just really cool to be able to work with all the mentors, man. And then of course we have Rake, who's the GG Nocturnal mentor, and also a season one mentor, and Rake coached the AMP
I was
team.
going to say Rake was the
Yeah,
coach for Amped as well.
and
So,
just he's just a machine, dude. Like stays up till 5 a.m. studying like Counter Strike. Like I know him personally. He's just also a really great dude. And so yeah, I mean that's kind of how we go about picking all of the mentors. Um, so actually getting to work with them is a whole other thing. So during season one, I was generally out of the picture. That's just with all of Amped, I'm really just high level stuff. Like people are usually managing themselves, and that includes the mentors. But getting their feedback and me being able to send them pitch decks and being like, "What do you guys think about this? Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? In your experience, what do you think?" So, getting their feedback on, I guess, high level ideas that would push the company forward is just super valuable, invaluable for me, and I'm so grateful that they are on the team. Um, so getting to work with them is totally amazing, and yeah, it's just a privilege. So
yeah, dude, I know what you're talking about being in the room with ECL players versus like IM/main players and watching demos. And it's not talking down to the IM or main players here either. You listen to the ECL players and you hear how they think about the game and you hear the way they are talking about it and you're like, well, that's why you're so much better. That's why you're there and I'm over here, because like you hear it, like they just say things that you don't consider. And it is a privilege to get to say. I remember my first LAN. I got to stay at the Take Flight Airbnb, and they had both the ECL team and the Take Flight Kings there, the advanced team. and the Shanghai Major was happening. So we'd be at the LAN all day till midnight, come back, and then we'd watch like 3-4 hours of the Shanghai Major with like 10 of the best players in North American Counter Strike in the room. And it's a privilege to get to do that. Like, it's amazing, right? But that being said, actually, no, I don't have any. That being said, it's just a privilege. It feels freaking great. You're doing fantastic work over there, Tuna. You love to see it.
We're
Well,
trying.
all right. Yeah. Well, I think that's. I mean, essentially, we go for 40-ish minutes on these things.
Yeah, I
That's
think
it's.
whatever you want to do. I'm down to keep yapping if you want to keep yapping. But
I
40
was gonna.
minutes.
I was gonna ask. Do you have anything? Do you have anything else you want to say about the Next Gen Cup, or any thoughts on North American Counter Strike in general that you want to share?
I mean, I think in regards to the Next Gen Cup, just come sign up, try it. It's $25 a team. There's no harm. Like it supports us. It helps my team go to sponsors and be like, hey, we got 16 signs for this. We had 600 viewers, like whatever. So if you want to support NA, join the Next Gen Cup. And then also, I think the only thing I have to say about Counter Strike in general is that there's a lot in front of us right now. And you mentioned earlier, kind of looking up time, looking down the funnel, and it's like there's so much in front of us that we need to work with right now, and let's focus on that versus trying to claw our way to the top and then leave everyone behind. You know what I mean? So let's innovate. That's the best way I can put it.
I think that's brilliant. Yeah, dude. I think that our scene right now, just, we don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the foundation right now for anybody to climb to the top.
That's exactly
Right?
what that's exactly what we're trying to create right now, is that foundation.
Exactly. And that's where we do need to start turning around and be like, okay, we need to lay a new foundation. The EU is so strong because 10, 15 years ago, they were laying foundations all across the region to have strong sets of Counter-Strike. And you started to see the fruits of that labor with Astralis eight years later. I mean, obviously, EU Counter-Strike has always been big, but like, Astralis was a demonstration of how strong that foundation was across the region. It produced some of the best players, and then, I mean, look what they did. And 7 years later, we have the Donks and the Keisukis and the Monacies and the Zaiwus and all like, the more and more continue to breed from that really, really solid foundation, that has created a talent pipeline that's meaningful. And obviously, there's a lot bigger cultural issues that come into play with how much the average NA player is able to put their life into Counter Strike. But I think that it's really important that we build that foundation first and foremost, and I think that's why I've been so invested with wanting to be a part of Frag. I don't really care too much anymore about being at a tier 1 event. I just want to help Frag grow because they're such a crucial part of NACS, right? So, well, guess what? You're gonna see me come cast some. I'm gonna barge my way into some next gen games if you'll have me, and with or without payment, I'm just gonna make my way in there. But I do have 2 final questions here for you that I ask everybody, and the first one is, where does your in-game name Tuna come from?
Good question. So it's not
And
super
is it
exciting.
appropriate?
Yes, yeah, it's appropriate.
Okay.
I just had a friend. I don't even really remember, but it was a friend of mine, and my first name is Andrew, and Andy from The Office, which I'm sure everyone is familiar with, would call Jim Big Tuna, and for some
Big
reason,
Tuna.
my buddy would call me Big Tuna all the time. And I was like, you know what? That's kind of catchy. I kind of like that. Because I don't even remember what my tag was before that. But I was like, I'm going to take Big Tuna. And then I think it evolved. And then everyone was like, oh, Big Tuna from The Office. I know you. Whatever. And then I changed it to Tuna because I was like, I don't want it to be an Office reference. You know what I mean? And it's been like that for probably, a long time now. Probably 10 years. So, or 5 years, something like that.
But it is secretly an Office reference.
Secretly, yeah.
It's
Secretly.
funny your friend called you Big Tuna, though, because Andy called Jim
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Not
It doesn't
Jim
make any
called
sense.
Andy that, but
That's why I
wh-
think it's funny. It just doesn't like it's just a funny story to tell. So I wanted to keep it. You know.
my friend got the line backwards, so I
Oh.
held on to it. All right, I love it. Okay, my final question for you, and this is the big one.
Hmm.
If if you could talk to a younger version of yourself and give them some advice, what would it be? It could be Counter Strike or esports or just life
It's
related
kind of
in
a loaded
general, whatever
question.
you want to
Okay,
be. A little bit, but
I'll
go
put it
on.
this way. And I think it comes from my experience as pursuing higher education, going to college and whatever. Just network with everybody. Like we're going into a day and age where a computer can pretty much do your job, and if you're just like an NPC and you don't have any charisma and you're not ripping and grinning, um I think you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So if you think someone is a higher social status than you or whatever, and you see them at an event, or you're too shy to talk to somebody, just go over and talk to them. Just be like, hey, like, what's your name? Like, whatever. I don't know. You figure something out. You do it in your own way. Don't be cringy. Be yourself. Um, that's what I can say is, and also don't try to conform to like anything. You know, do what you love to do, but do it smart. If a lot of people say like, bet on yourself and all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's true, but if you're just talking about how you're betting on yourself all the time, and you're talking about, like, I don't know, like, let's just have a cliff analogy. You know what I mean? Like, you're standing at the top of a cliff, like, you're like, I'm gonna go fly, and then you just walk off the cliff with nothing. You don't have any wings, no materials, no plan. You're gonna fall. You know what I'm saying? So you need to have a plan if you're gonna bet on yourself, and if you don't have a plan, then you're just like yapping. You're just talking, and it's just not gonna work. So bet on
It's
yourself.
calling Big D out here right now.
Well, I wasn't directing this at anyone in particular.
I'm
Um,
just kidding. I'm just
but
kidding.
but definitely, have a plan. Don't just start doing crazy shit. Like you need to think it out and build from there. So, and also talk to other people. Like bounce ideas off of other people. People like being creative. So if you think you're right all the time and you're just like, this is what's gonna work, then it probably won't work. Unless you're like really experienced and you're really good at whatever it is you're doing. So rope people in. You're stronger as a team. So that's my philosophical yap session.
I like that a lot. That's good stuff. That's good stuff, Andrew.
Yep.
This has been a lovely episode. All right,
Yeah.
dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on here and sharing with us about the Next Gen Cup and the history of Amped and the history of Tuna. And just like Hot Ones, if you want to
Do I
look
have to do a
this
last
camera,
tab?
this cam. Well, no,
Do I have to
damn.
go get hot sauce?
No, I already do enough last dabs for all of us, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, but this camera, this camera, this camera, if you want to let the people know what you got going. I mean, we know the Next Gen Cup, but what's next for Andrew, where to find you, and any shout outs or plugs you want to give before we dip out of here?
Um, yeah, I mean, just honestly, best way is just go follow Amped Esports NA, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, X, YouTube. Um, that's the best way to support us, is to just follow. And if you want to sign, if you're a player that's looking to accelerate their path to pro, then join the Next Gen Cup. You're the start of something that is going to be very great, and we're very excited to have you. So come sign up for the Next Gen Cup. It's linked in our bio on pretty much all socials. So give it a look. Shout out Crossfire for helping us out. Great dudes, Crown and Big and Tall Matt. And shout out Take Flight and Lag for always supporting the team and supporting the Next Gen Cup as well. So we're really looking forward to seeing where we can go with this. And yeah, thanks so much, Big D, for having me. And this was a total pleasure. And hopefully I'll be back at some point in the future and we'll have a lot more cool stuff to talk about.
I got a lot of players to get through in the scene, but yeah, when I start looping back, you're always welcome. This has been a hoot. All right, well, thank you for joining us, Andrew, and thank you all at home for watching. That is it.
All right.
Cue that sweet reggaeton music.
Hell yeah.